and welcome to Cavs Daily, your one-stop shop for everything Cavs related, the good, the bad, the ugly, the boring, the exciting, whatever it is, we're talking about it here. I'm your host, Paul Williams. Appreciate you guys all joining me as always. And we have a good one for you today, as today was the opening day of training camp. And with that just comes a lot of news, updates, fun stuff if you're like me and been waiting for the basketball season to tip off for what seems like forever now. If you could, before we get started, hit the like, subscribe, comment. And actually, you know what? You can wait to do that, but at least give me a little bit of time to earn that from you. And if I do, if you could, I'd love for you to join this journey with me as we talk Cavs every day as we go on our championship run. Now, first topic of today, talking Cavs, is an obvious one with training camp just starting. That's probably something we should touch in on, and that's absolutely what we're going to do now, as there was a lot of information and news coming out of IMG Academy today where the Cavs all met. Well, not met, they went there together, but took the floor for their first official day of basketball for the 25-26 season. From what Coach Kenny Atkinson said, all the guys got there super early, and with them already getting together before training camp and just throughout the summer, sounded like they really were able to hit the ground running and kind of start more in mid-training camp form, I guess you could say, instead of just starting from scratch after a long off season of no real work. So sounded like the Cavs got in some good work today. There were no scrimmages or anything of that nature being done, just a lot of drills, defensive stuff, things along those lines. Darius Garland did not participate in team drills, but he did take 45 minutes to do his own personal workouts and drills, so that was good to see. Coach Atkinson said he looked great during those workouts, but they are just individual workouts, so take of them what you want. But it's still good that he's out there being active and already at least doing some basketball activities, and what he says is basically doing them all. A little news about another point guard of the Cavaliers. It sounds like Lonzo Ball is already pretty comfortable around his new team, as there's a bunch of reports, including from Atkinson himself, that Lonzo's already kind of taking the reins as somewhat of a vocal leader on the court, and he's already coming to Coach Atkinson with suggestions, how to tweak plays, things he sees out there or might have saw on past tape of the Cavaliers. So pretty much exactly what we would hope out of our backup point guard. Sounds like we're off to a good start with that, which is always promising. Evan Mobley, all the guys talked about how well rounded his game is looking so far this season, even in pre-workouts before training camp. Guys touched on just the aggressiveness and assertiveness that he is playing with. He has bulked up as well, and from all the reports today, he had a very good day at training camp. Take it for what it's worth. They didn't scrimmage or do anything too serious, but they were out there on the court breaking a sweat, and no one got injured, so that's always good. And it seems like the guys really just are getting along great and enjoying each other. And there seems to be, while there was a great energy and they were a great team last year, obviously, during training camp, Kenny Atkinson was a brand new coach who just had come in a few months ago. They were integrating guys like Ty Jerome, who was on the team the year prior but didn't play at all and was getting set to now play a big role for the Cavaliers. They were still kind of trying to find their identity. I mean, just think about this time last year. No one was calling the Cavs title contenders. No one was talking about the Cavs being a possible 60-win team, number one seed in the East. So very different expectations coming into this camp, but also feels like there's much more of a calm and just relaxed environment despite the expectations they know they have. Seems like they all really like working with each other and enjoy being out there. They're hanging out before the practices, after the practices. So there's some very, very good team vibes right now. And I do think that's important as it showed last year. I mean, they did end up being a very close knit team. And I think that had a lot to do with their overall success. The difference with this team is, though, I feel like this team is more. I feel like this team is more mature and they have a much better veteran presence, which will kind of weed out the excessive joking. Like, yeah, you can have fun, let's be loose, enjoy what we're doing, but also we have one goal in mind. And I think that's going to be very important for this team if we expect to have different results from the last few years. We're going to have to do some things differently, and I think that mindset could be a big part of it. Now, while we're uh, for the most part, we have the same core. Well, we have the same core four, which is what really matters. There have been different iterations of this core four over the past 3 years, especially under JB Bickerstaff. The rotations were a lot different. The personnel was different. I mean, year one, we didn't have Max Struess. Uh, we had a lot of guys that are looking to be big contributors this year that weren't on the team even last year. So I feel like each rendition of this core four since Donovan got traded here 3 years ago has been a bit different. And while we have had a top five bench in the league for a few years now, and our roster has been looked at as one of the better rosters for a while, I do think this team, this roster right now that we're taking into the 25-26 season is the best hands down by far, both basketball skill wise, being the most well rounded. And I think the biggest thing is having the best veteran leadership and maturity to the team. I mean, you get it already just off of guys like Darius, Donovan, Jared, and Evan getting more experience in the NBA and playing together. So they're maturing and bringing more of a veteran president presence. But then you also have guys like Larry Nance Jr., Thomas Bryant, Lonzo Ball. I mean, serious veteran ball players that have been around, have seen things, and now kind of understand what it takes to win in the NBA, even if all three of them haven't won championships individually themselves. They still have been around guys and in locker rooms where they gained a lot of very important knowledge and just learned from some. I mean, look at Larry Nance. He was on the 2018 Cavs team. Think about that. That team went through so much, still found a way to make it to the finals. Got pushed to the brink by Boston early, or not early on, but in the Eastern Conference Finals. Got pushed by the Pacers in the first round, which was early on. Yet they still found a way, and I think his experience going through that and then playing in the NBA another 7 years is going to be huge. Thomas Bryant coming from the run he just made with the Pacers, the run he was a part of with Denver in 2023, and then Lonzo Ball just, I mean, he also played with LeBron. He played with Zion, Brandon Ingram, a good group of just talented ball players. And he's learned from every stop he's been. And he always has been like a mature leader on the court and off the court. So I just think this mesh of guys is by far the best roster we've had in the past 3 years. And I think by far our best chance to win a championship. Even if the talent overall is somewhat equal, I truly don't think you can quantify or put a price on how valuable it is to have the right guys and the right locker room and the right amount of leadership and experience on your team. And I think the Cavs are really going to benefit from that with this roster this year. A big part of this new roster and me feeling that way is the guy I just touched on, Larry Nance Jr., the 10-year vet who spent some time here as a player, like I said, with LeBron, and then a few years post LeBron. Also spent a ton of time here as a kid, as his father was a NBA great and a Cavs legend, Larry Nance Sr. I'm so excited about this addition. It was a low key move where it's not gonna make the headlines or make people think, oh, the Cavs, the cheat code, they got Larry Nance. But he's the perfect fit for any type of competitive championship aspiration having team. Even if you're just like a young playoff team, it would still be so crucial to have a guy like Larry Nance on your team. And when as he always is going to play hard no matter what. That's just who he is and how he is. But when he's as motivated as he is back home, now have been through just about everything you can go through in the NBA, and he just wants to win, and he wants to do it at home. And what better opportunity than this team this year? So you can tell he's already really embracing that, and of course he has already embraced the city, doing numerous appearances and being part of different camps and different charities. And I just really love some of the things he's echoed the past couple of days at training camp and at media day, talking about the fact that we're not here for 64 wins or to have a great regular season. Of course, that's what we need to get into the playoffs, but it's not going to matter unless we make the run everyone knows we're capable of. He didn't downright say it, but he basically said it's championship or bust, and he wants guys to approach it that way, and he's going to hold guys accountable and be accountable himself for that. And I think that's going to be huge for this team, especially with him already being comfortable because it's his home. He's played with Darius Garland before and in this locker room before. So I think it'll be easy for him to really transition fully into a leader on this team, whether he's playing 10 minutes or 25 minutes a game. He's going to be a huge piece, but I also do think he's going to be a huge piece on the court as well. He's going to open up numerous lineups for the Cavs that they couldn't really do the last couple of years. His shot, his three-point shooting has grown by leaps and bounds. He shot over 40% the last couple of years, though it was on low volume because he didn't play in that many games due to some injuries. But you can tell he clearly is 100 times better shooter than he was early in his career, and he is the type of shooter that will have to be respected. Guys will have to run out when he's open on the three-point line. They won't be able to just clog the paint and stop Donovan and Darius from driving whenever they feel necessary. So Larry Nance is going to hit, and just the hustle, the rebounding, the defense, the versatility. He's going to have a huge role on this team, both on the court and off the court. And when the Cavs are hoisting their NBA Finals 2026 championship banner, Larry Nance Jr. will have been a big part of that. And speaking of hoisting that championship banner, training camp has started, so I think it's appropriate and the right time for me to make my first of, I'm not going to lie, there will be many, finals predictions. And I don't want to say that many. Maybe like at certain points throughout the year, the midseason, a few weeks left till playoffs, just a couple times. But I do think it's fair if I'm able to adjust at least a couple times throughout the year. But I've had this finals pretty much locked in my head for a while now, ever since the free agency moves and the teams have all kind of settled in. I think it's clear who the two teams to beat in each conference are. And I think the two teams left standing playing in June for the Larry O'Brien Trophy will be the Cleveland Cavaliers representing the Eastern Conference and the Denver Nuggets representing the Western Conference. I don't know. I think Denver is just such an obvious sleeping giant. They're a year removed from being champions themselves. Last year was a tough break for them as they did push the eventual champion OKC Thunder to 7 games despite a lot of drama and in-house stuff with firing their coach just a week before the season ended. So I think it's pretty impressive they were still able to push uh, the Thunder the way they did, and they already were a championship level team. But I do love the moves they made, picking up Bruce Brown, or not. Well, yes, picking him up and bringing him back. As Brown was, of course, a big part of their 2023 championship team. Um, they also brought in Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jonas Valanciunas, two vets that I think fit great with the team they have and can really take a little pressure off of Jokic and Murray as far as the scoring load goes. And I mean, anytime you have the best player in the league, which Nikola Jokic is, if we're just being honest, you have a chance. And he has a very good team around him. Making the trade, Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson, I see kind of as a neutral, but I do think Cam Johnson, especially with better health, and for some reason, Michael Porter just seemed like a weird fit whenever the playoffs came around. He was either having a really good game or was basically unplayable. I think Cam Johnson will kind of settle in between those two outliers, and I think he'll just be a solid guy that the Nuggets can rely on as their starting three guard. And I really think Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway, two guards coming off the bench, are going to make a huge difference this year for the Nuggets. And I see them as the clear team to beat in the West. And I do think that they will be facing the Cavs for the championship this season. And at this moment, my champion, after a very good, only 6 game series, but competitive 6 game series, unlike some finals where it might go 7, but all the games were blowouts, i.e., 2016. I think this will be a back and forth series with mostly close games, at least 3 or 4 really close games. And I think the Cavs will win in 6 and overtake the Nuggets to become the NBA champions. That is my prediction on training camp day 1. I do have room to adjust accordingly, and we all know injuries can change any predictions in a hurry. So please, guys, don't hold me too tightly to that. But yeah, that's what I think will happen this year as far as the NBA Finals go. Now, whatever happens this year, I guarantee you hear about it from me here on Cavs Daily. I hope you'll subscribe now and hit that like button if you enjoyed it. If you ever have any ideas about segments or topics for a show, please drop them in the comments. And until I see you guys tomorrow, appreciate you always and have a wonderful day.